Have you ever stopped and thought about how something like a border, just a line on a map, actually gets its power? Or money? It's just paper, right? Well, we're going to dive into this really cool idea called constructivism. It basically says our world is shaped way less by stuff and way more by the big, powerful ideas we all decide to believe in. And to really get how big of a deal this is, we've got to start with a puzzle. A real head-scratcher that had all the top political experts at the time just completely stumped. I mean, for almost 50 years, the entire planet was holding its breath, right? The US, the Soviet Union, everyone figured their rivalry was going to end in a giant nuclear fireball. But it didn't. Instead, this incredibly dangerous standoff it just fizzled out. The big question is why? So, this peaceful ending was a huge problem for the theories people were using to explain how the world works. I mean, those theories were great at explaining things like wars and power plays, but they were totally unprepared for a massive global shift that wasn't driven by tanks or missiles, but by a simple change of mind. Okay, so to get why those old theories kind of fell flat, we need to look at the toolkit they were working with. How they saw the world. Basically, the old way of looking at things saw the world as being made up of, things, tangible stuff. Reality was all about what you could count. Tanks, bombs, money, land. In this worldview, countries are basically like billiard balls on a table. They just smack into each other based on their size and power, all of them just trying to survive. And from that point of view, things like a country's culture or its beliefs or its identity, that was all just fluff, background noise. The only thing that really mattered was the cold, hard math of military and economic might. But then, the Berlin Wall comes down, and it became super obvious that this whole equation was missing a really important piece. And that's where this totally new, kind of radical way of seeing the world comes into play. It's called social constructivism. So constructivism basically flips that old view completely on its head. It says, yeah, sure, the material world, the tanks, the money, the land, it all exists. But what gives it all meaning and power are the shared ideas we have about it. There's this great quote from a scholar named Alexander Wend that just nails it. He said, "Anarchy is what states make of it." What he meant is, the world isn't naturally some dog-eat-dog battlefield. It only becomes that way if that's what countries believe it is, and then they act on that belief. So if you can change those shared beliefs, you can literally change the whole game. I mean, think about it like this, right? 500 nukes in the hands of the UK feels totally different than 5 nukes in the hands of North Korea. Why? The physical objects are the same. They're just weapons. But our shared ideas about those two countries, that changes everything. It's like a pile of rocks is just a pile of rocks. But the second we all agree to call it a border, that idea suddenly becomes this incredibly powerful, real thing. Okay, so how does this actually work in practice? How do these ideas go from just thoughts to things that shape our entire reality? Well, constructivism points to a couple of key ways. First up, let's talk about 2 kinds of rules. You've got regulative rules, think of traffic laws. Driving already exists, and traffic lights just, regulate it. But then you have these other, way more powerful rules called constitutive rules. These don't just control the game, they literally create the game. I mean, without the rules of chess, you don't have a game of chess. You just have a bunch of weirdly shaped pieces on a board. And it's the same in world politics. The idea of sovereignty doesn't just manage how countries behave, it creates the very concept of what a country even is. And these big, world-changing ideas, they often follow this kind of 3-stage life cycle. It kicks off with what's called a norm entrepreneur. Maybe a small group of activists who start arguing that something, say using landmines, is just barbaric. At first, it's a fringe idea, right? But then it hits a tipping point, this norm cascade, where a whole bunch of countries jump on board. Maybe to look good or to fit in. And then comes the final stage, internalization. The idea becomes so normal, so taken for granted, that the thought of using landmines becomes pretty much unthinkable for most nations. Let's make this super real. Let's look at an example where one of these made-up ideas can literally be the difference between life and death. Okay, so the category of refugee, that's not something that exists in nature, like a rock or a tree. It's a legal and political idea that humans invented in the 20th century, and people have been arguing over and changing the definition for decades. That fence you're looking at is a real physical thing, but it's the abstract idea of who gets to be called a refugee that decides the fate of every single person who walks up to it. And this really gets at the key difference between what we call a brute fact and a social fact. So, gravity? That's a brute fact. It works whether you believe in it or not. But a dollar bill? That's a social fact. At the end of the day, it's just a piece of paper with some ink on it. The only reason it has any power at all is because we all agree it has value. And honestly, so much of our world, from money to borders to human rights, runs on these social facts. Okay, so let's bring this all the way back to that Cold War puzzle we started with and really land on the biggest takeaway here. Using this constructivist lens, we can finally see what those old theories totally missed. The Cold War didn't end just because of some shift in tanks or missiles. No, it ended because of a revolution in ideas. Leaders in the Soviet Union, especially Gorbachev, started to completely rethink what their country was, what it wanted, and what its place in the world was. And that led to this peaceful change that absolutely no one saw coming. And this is where it gets really powerful and, honestly, maybe even a little hopeful. Because if our world is built on ideas that we all share, well, that means it's not set in stone. It's not inevitable. The way things are right now is not the only way they can be. It means that if we can change the ideas, we can actually, literally, change the world. So that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. Every big rule we live by, from how countries work to what human rights are, it's all stuff that people made up. They're all social constructions. So the question for you is, if you could change one of those foundational ideas, one of those core rules, what would you remake?